All right, Shalom. First, I can start by saying all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Root Well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. This is on ABC 7 News. At least 29 dead, 85 injured after two trains collide in Greece. So I'm going to play this clip, and I got a couple more clips, basically of them describing the incident, man. So that being said.
Carnage in Greece as two trains collide, killing at least 29 people and injuring another 90. It happened shortly before midnight when a passenger train from Athens struck an oncoming freight train head-on. Survivors say passengers were thrown through the windows of the train due to the impact. Rescue crews sifted through the mangled wreckage, searching for survivors. Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. And download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku.
As you can see, the Lord really
Just
messing
terrifying
people up.
images coming out of.
And it's going to get worse, man. These people getting thrown through windows of moving trains. And she can explain a little more in detail.
Greece this morning. The death toll now more than 30 people, more than 80 people have been injured. Many of those college-age students coming back from a festival. Now, the big question that investigators are asking this morning, why were two trains running on the same track towards each other at high speeds?
Overnight, the smoldering wreckage of a fiery head-on collision, the deadliest train crash Greece has ever seen. A crowded passenger train with about 350 people on board and a freight train colliding on the same track. The passenger train traveling from the capital of Athens to the northern city of Thessaloniki. We heard a big bang, this passenger says, 10 nightmarish seconds. He continues, there was panic, it was chaos, people screaming, people trapped. This passenger was in the fourth carriage. We broke the window with our backs. I saw sparks and flames on the sides of the window. The first four cars of the passenger train derailed, the first two catching fire, almost completely destroyed. Working through the night, Greek media reports more than 150 firefighters and 40 ambulances, even cranes were on the scene. It comes as the railway safety in the country has been under scrutiny. A 2022 European Union report showing that Greece had the highest overall railway fatality rate among the 29 countries studied, the seventh highest for passengers. This latest accident bringing the issue back into the spotlight as first responders continue the search for survivors.
Now, the Prime Minister has been to the scene of the crash this morning, vowing a thorough investigation. The final number of victims at this time is still unknown. They are still searching for survivors, and the government there has declared 3 days of mourning. Craig Chanel.
Molly Hunter on that breaking news there in Greece. Molly, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our...
See how much you can save with our solar incentive programs in your area that are saving homeowners thousands. Maximize the benefits.
Crews are searching for survivors after a terrible train wreck. So far, more than 36 people are confirmed dead after a passenger train collided with a freight train near the city of Larissa. We learned moments ago that they were apparently traveling on the same track for quite a while as well. Authorities are trying to identify the victims. CNN's Eleni Jokos tracking this live for us from Dubai. Eleni, first of all, what do we know about what happened here? I mean, it's very apparent from the pictures how bad it is.
It is bad. And you have a cargo train traveling from Thessaloniki and a passenger train traveling from Athens, head-on collision. The first two carriages catching alight, and you can see the devastation, mangled metal. You've got cranes and you have metal cutting machinery to try and cut through those two first carriages. And that's the fear, that more people are trapped, and the death toll rising now to 38. When I was last on air, it was 36. You've got 66 people that are injured, 7 of whom are currently in intensive care. You're seeing lines of people in Larissa waiting to donate blood. So the big question is, what happened here? How did they collide? the national broadcaster reporting that at some point the passenger train changed lanes and was traveling for quite some time on the same line as the cargo train. And then, of course, that resulted in a collision. The question is it a technical fault? Is it a human error? Who's going to be taking responsibility for this? Investigations are currently underway. We know that the Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, is on the way to the crash area. But in the meantime, what we're hearing from the hospital is that parents, family, loved ones of people traveling on the train have gathered to try and identify the dead. The issue is that it's difficult, from what we hear from authorities, to identify some of the people because the injuries were absolutely so severe. We've also heard reports from some passengers that they were being thrown around in the carriages. Also, as the fire broke out, some people were burned. So we're talking about a very traumatic, severe experience. And as we, go through the search and rescue, it's almost 12 hours since the accident occurred. You're seeing major response from the international community, specifically European Commissioner coming out and extending condolences. So to the EU Council President as well, various countries in Europe. But in the meantime, Greeks are waiting to see how this happened, Max, and importantly, why.
Right now is the best time to live well, and our team of primary care doctors is here to help you do just that. As your partner in convenient and exceptional care, we make it easier to live for what matters most. Aurora Healthcare.
And collide head-on. The accident happening near Tempe, a city north of Athens.
The breaking news overnight from Greece. A deadly train disaster has killed at least 36 people, dozens more injured when a passenger train collided head-on with a freight train. Marcus Moore is tracking the story. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, George, good morning. Information is still coming in, but we know that this was a high-speed collision between these trains, hundreds of passengers on board, and many of them were students returning from Greece's festival celebrations, and dozens of people have been killed. Overnight, a deadly train crash in Greece as a freight train and passenger train collide head-on. The accident happening near Tempe, a city north of Athens. The fatal crash and derailment killing at least 36 people and injuring 85. According to the Hellenic Train Company, their train had departed from Athens en route to Thessaloniki, and about 350 passengers were on board at the time of the crash. Sturgis Meninis, a passenger who survived the accident, describing it. There was panic, he said. For 10-15 seconds, it was chaos. People screaming, people trapped. Nearly 200 emergency responders rushing to the scene, urgently evacuating people after at least 3 carriages caught fire. Rescuers wearing headlamps, pulling pieces of twisted metal from the cars, searching for people trapped inside. This passenger narrowly escaping. A fire had erupted next to us, he said. This man here saw a hole, so we managed to get out from where we were. This morning, the focus has been on the rescue operation. They've brought in cranes to lift the large pieces of wreckage there. But the question still remains, how did these trains end up on the same track, headed straight at each other at high speed? And Rebecca, the train station manager who was on duty at the time, has been arrested.
Wow, very interesting, Marcus. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
All right. Now, this very much well could have been orchestrated. Because this is like the third, if not fourth, train incident since the Ohio situation. And you saw be having stuff like this happen for distractive purposes or whatever the case may be, but still got a lot of people dying from it. And, ultimately it's the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. So let's keep the train moving, because there's a lot more death and a lot more grievous deaths coming, up until Yahushua's return and everything gets set back in order. And then there's still going to be more deaths because Jake Israel gonna be fucking up the nations, man. You know, payback season. You know, but this is 2nd Ezra 15:5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Right. So this is a plague unto this world, all this death that is happening from Yahweh Shem Shai. This is Isaiah chapter 60. Oh, I'm sorry. Psalms 68 and 20. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto Yahweh the Lord belongeth the issues from death. Right? So Yahweh Shem Shai is controlling who dies, you know, issuing out judgments. This is this next one, because you know we don't have to worry about that. Yahweh is that we have the elect. We have to worry about deaths like how 2/3 of Israel is dying and the heathen are dying. You know, some brothers might have to die for the word's sake, you know, but some brothers are not going to die. But the Lord is giving these people harsh deaths, and then He gonna bring them back to life, and then they're gonna be hit by the second death, which is the nuclear missiles, man. You know, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. Right? And that life and good is the scriptures, man. If you don't choose the way of the scriptures, the understanding of the Bible, the truth, knowing who you are, ultimately, if you're not of the elect, then you're going to get the death and the evil. You know, it says, and that I command thee this day to love the Lord Yahweh thy God, to walk in his ways and to keep his commandments of that which we can keep, and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and the Lord Yahweh Shai, thy God, shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Right, and this was us going into the land of Israel. Now we on our way back into the land of Israel, you know, but 2/3 not gonna make it. The elect gonna make it, and they gonna keep the law, statutes, commandments to the best of their ability, because we just rehearsing the righteous acts until we get there, and the Lord makes us perfect. Verse 17, Deuteronomy 30:17. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, which is religions, these different gangs, philosophies, the image of the beast that Esau has pushed out and said that everybody can worship, this whole democracy way of life, the LGBT community, you know, Jake is worshiping other gods instead of Yahweh Shema Shai. I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou passes over Jordan to go to possess it. And we going through the same thing that happened back then. We're on our way back to Israel. We're going back through the same thing, man. Verse 19, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Right, man. So, you know, besides the heathen catching these crazy, grievous deaths, Jake gonna be catching them too for choosing death. and not choosing Yahweh Shema Shai, man. But us that's doing the work diligently through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, we gonna miss that. Yahweh, we have the elect. We're gonna die honorable deaths if we have to. This is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 26. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge, right? So you have to have strong confidence in the Lord. You have to trust in Yahweh Shema Shai, man. Don't lose faith, man. Let that demon of doubt jump on you to the point where it gets you destroyed. Fear of the Lord is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Isaiah 54 and 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Us that's doing the will, man. Of Yahweh Shema Shai, man. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. Everybody that came up against us, man. Starting from the apostles on down. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me. Right? We doing what the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. Said the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai. So I'm gonna end with that. Call Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.